What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so yesterday was the second game of yesterday's playoffs. Was game two between the first seeded OKC Thunder and I believe Denver was the fourth seed. So it's the first seed versus the fourth seed. Of course, in game one at OKC, it ended in a shocker as Aaron Gordon, who has been very impactful for the Denver Nuggets this postseason, had his second game winner of the postseason, a three-pointer. And it stunned the OKC crowd, the Thunder, 120, I believe was 120, 119, I think the score was. And game two was anything but close. This game was an absolute blowout. You could see from the start, the Thunder was not playing any games. They came out with a ferocity that I had not seen since they beat, Memphis by 51. And the final score of this contest was going into that category. The final score was 149-106. As a matter of fact, the second unit didn't even let up when they got in, which was pretty much the full quarter of yesterday's debacle. The carnage ensued from the get-go. They were running the floor. They were pressing on defense. They were going for strips. They was going for passing lanes. As far as steals, they were doubling Jokic. In the first game, they pretty much had the strategy where, look, we're going to let Jokic get his off. We're going to try to cut him off from being a passer. Yesterday's game, they said, you know what? We're going to swarm this guy. We're going to play him for the pass as well. We're going to try to discombobulate him. We're going to double him offensively. And then when he tried to go in for, when he's trying to, when we think he's going to try to distribute, we're going to try to disrupt the pass. So they were swarming this guy, right? You know what I'm saying? And they made him uncomfortable. Jokic usually gets into a comfort in most of these games, but last night he was uncomfortable. And while he was able to score 17 points, he was only 6 of 16 from the floor. He only had 8 rebounds and 6 assists. And the only reason why he didn't have more assists is because a lot of those guys were bricking. Look, some of it was defense, absolutely. Some of it was great defense. Most of it was defense. But Christian Braun, he was missing wide open threes. Russell Westbrook, you my guy. You know, you finished 5-11. That was misleading because you started the game 4 for 4. He was bricking open threes. Same thing goes for Michael Porter Jr., who, if I remember correctly, he didn't have a great game one. He had a terrible game two. Only 2 of 10 from the floor. Some of those shots were wide open bricks. Now, I'm not saying that they would have won the game, but the game would have been a little bit more competitive. Maybe like an 18, 16-point loss had they not bricked so many wide open threes. But, like I said, a lot of it was OKC's defense. Jamal Murray, he only had 14 points on 4 of 9. He only took 9 shots last night. 9 shots. Russell Westbrook led the team with 19 points. But as I said, even though he was 5-11 from the floor, he started off the game 4 for 4 from the field. And afterward went only 1 of 7, I believe, and 1 of 4 from three-point range. He did have 5 assists, but he also had 4 turnovers. Now, those were bad turnovers. Now, it didn't decide the game, but Russ didn't have a great game. He did not. And I can't sit in front like he did. He didn't play well, even though he had 19 points. But it wasn't him. It wasn't just him, man. The Nuggets did not come out there to play at all. They only shot 38% from the floor. They were 15 of 37 from three-point range, which is 40%, which is good. Unfortunately, OKC shot 16 of 36 from downtown, which is 44%. And on top of that, OKC shot a ridiculous 56% from the floor. You're not going to win too many games when your opponent is shooting 56% from the floor. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had a performance for him. Now, his numbers weren't mind-boggling. He had 34 points, I believe it was, and 8 assists. It was the shooting. His shots were so high quality. 11 of 13 from the floor. You heard me right. 11 of 13 from the floor. 1 of 2 from beyond 3-point line. And I believe he was 11 of 11 from the line for 34 points in just 3 quarters of play. And as a matter of fact, OKC set an NBA record yesterday. They scored 87 points in the first half. That broke the NBA record for most points scored in the first half of an NBA playoff game, which was set back in 2018 by the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think it was 2018, or it might have been 2017. Might have been 2017. One of those Cavs teams. I'm trying to think here. Might have been 2017. It was one of those Cavs teams. Anyway, Game 4 of the 2018 or 17 NBA Finals. One of those finals, the Cavs scored 87 points in the first half. I think it was when Kyrie was still there. I think it was that one game that they won, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll be 2017. But anyway, they tied the NBA record for most points scored in any NBA playoff half, which was set by the Milwaukee Bucks way back in 1978. I forgot the opponent. It was 1978. And I think it was the Warriors that they beat. I think it was the Warriors that they did that against. But anyway, yeah, the Thunder was just on a roll last night. And but you know what? Even though they won by such a large margin, it's still 1-1. It's still 1-1. And Denver did what they had to do, which was take a game in OKC. They still got home court advantage. And this still means that OKC has to win a game at Denver to win this series. So if you're Denver, it's a disheartening loss, but you just have to make the adjustments and come out and be prepared and get ready for game 3. OKC cannot get complacent, obviously, and they got to get ready for a game that's more than likely going to be much more competitive, and Denver's going to come out absolutely swinging in game 3. So game 3, I think, is going to be very important in this series. If Denver wins game 3, doesn't mean the series is over with, but I think it definitely, when you look at the history, Denver with a 2-1 lead, it's usually favorable for them in a series. If OKC wins game 3, I tend to think that it'll be favorable for them to win this series. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.